So here, I want to show you something, YouTube folks.
YouTube folks.
So I kind of cook for John, amongst other things. But this morning we had a nice little fruit and taco, and we had what an old grandma in West Virginia used to call liquor.
Yeah.
And what liquor is just soup.
Yeah.
And it's all the good stuff you cook all week long. And you cook it down, season it, and you got a nice consomme. And it was really, wasn't it good, John? It was good,
Yeah,
right?
it was great. It really tasted good.
And when I was in Ireland as a young man in the early 70s.
Yeah, this is the story that I was interested to hear about. This is really interesting.
I had to get you there. I had to get you there. Yeah. And I was studying at Trinity in Dublin, which is the oldest college in the world. It's like 3,000 years old, consecutive, meaning, and that's where they have the Library of Alexander, or good chunks of it anyway, and they don't really tell people. And if you're studying there, you know, and you're in that library, you got to wear a mask, you got to wear gloves, you can't touch them, you can't be there with a cheeseburger. When I was in there, and I was, no one helped me. I was like this stupid white boy. I mean, they were whiter than me, but they were looking at me. He's from New York. You know, we're from Ireland. We're Celts. We're Druids. I mean, I was studying Celtic history. Anyway, so I'm in there and I'm looking at this old book, and it's in, you know, Latin, and I'm trying to figure it out. And this woman walks in, and she looks like a homeless woman, like of 112. And I kind of, and I'm
112.
She looked like straight out of the witch from Snow White. You know, she's bent over, and she was covered in garbage bags, and she had like a little trolley, as they call it, and a big hook nose with a wart on it. I mean, she looked just like the witch in on Snow White. And I kind of look at her and I go, whoa. And so I go back to this, and in all books of deep knowledge, they have keys, meaning it's not just straight there. It's like in a code. I mean, the Bible's in a code. Everything's in a code. So you have to look for the key. So I'm looking for the key, and I don't even know what I'm looking for, but I know I have to find a key. And I'm looking at it, and then the smell of the lady, and I look at it, she's like almost, you know, I'm like, ooh. And then
How old were you? 20s, 30s?
I was in my early 20s.
When was it? Oh, a long,
71, 2.
Early 70s.
Yeah, early 70s. So I've been 21, 22. And it's just before I went to New Mexico. Anyway, so I'm looking at this thing going, oh, Lord. And then the smell really hit me, and I go like this, and her face is right there. And every time I looked at her, she'd go, "What are you looking at?" And I'm, woo. Anyway, so she's right there.
Like in an English, I mean, not an English, an Irish brogue.
Well, no, actually in an English accent.
English?
Yeah, she had an English accent.
What do you mean?
Yeah, she had an English accent. Yeah, something like that, but a little different. But a little more Irish, too, because she'd been in Ireland forever. But anyway, so I'm like, and she goes, "Oh, you're looking for the key." And I go, "Yeah, I'm looking for the key." And I'm still like freaking out. And she goes, "It's right there, here." And she shows me how to move the book and look at it in a different angle. And it's like,
wow, that's weird.
Oh, that is cool. And so she goes, "You're a smart young man. Most of these morons wouldn't even know to look for a key." I said, "Well," and she goes, "You know, you should study with me." And I go, "Well, I'm here on a grant, and I'm not quite sure. They don't like me here, and I don't want to rock the boat." And she goes, No, you want to rock the boat." And she goes, "Go talk to Jerry." I said, "Jerry who?" She said, "The moron who runs this college, Dr. Jerry blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Oh, wow, I've never met him." And she just go knock on his door and tell him that I sent you, you know. And I go, "Okay."
What was her name?
Oh, I'm not supposed to use her name.
Okay.
So let's call her Queen Crone.
Yeah.
Well, crone in Ireland, there are druids and poets and there's crones, and it's in the Gaelic kind of tradition, you know. And crones are so old they have feathers growing out of the back of their head. Anyway, and that's how you can tell they're real crones, and they're mystical humans. And so I go to Jerry and I go, the old crone there, the queen, she told me I should go study with her, but he goes, she talked to you? I said, yeah. He goes, wow, I've known her 50 years and she's never said anything to me except, huh. And if she's told you to study with her, well, she's way better than this place, so you go. So
The president of the college?
of the whole friggin' Trinity College in Dublin, Ireland.
Wow,
the
that's
oldest
amazing.
school on earth that's been in existence in a singular period of time. Anyway, so I go, well, okay, I'm not having too much fun here, because I was almost too young to be in that town all by myself.
Okay.
And it wasn't until years later that I really appreciated what I had experienced. Anyway, so I go with her way up in the mountains.
You know, from standing right there, it looks like you have a hoop. Wait. It looks like you have a hoop earring, and it looks like you're strong. Like before, like if you put your left arm down, like you were. Well, never mind. It looks like you got a bald head and you're some weightlifter with a hoop earring.
Mr. Clean.
Okay.
Anyway, so I go
That
up.
looks funny.
I go up
Okay, no.
there,
Sorry.
and she has this beautiful farm.
Yeah.
In the mountains, and there's
Okay.
a waterfall and a stream, almost like this place, but more bucolic. And it's like unbelievably well trimmed. Everything is where it should be and in its place, and there are animals and there's nobody penned in. The horses, the cows,
It's something
pigs.
sort of just almost peaceful, like this place when the sun's shining in.
Right.
It's just like almost like a
Unbelievable.
CGI,
Yes,
unbelievable.
Right, exactly.
It's beyond
something
the
out of a
sense-
children's
it's like,
book.
Yeah. It's just amazing.
Amazing. So I'm like, and she shows me this nice little hayloft in her thing. That's very nice. It's a nice little bedroom, but it's in the hayloft, and the rest of the barn's down there. I'm like sleeping with the animals, but it's very nice. And she's got a lot of books. She goes, you can read all those books. I go, okay. And anyway, so we go in. She goes, I'm going to make a little meal. And she's got these beautiful little, she's got she's got electricity. I mean, it's such an amazing place because it's a mix of like something magical. And every day she had a TV. Anyway, so she out of the fridge, she takes these scones that haven't been baked yet. You know, they've been, I don't know what they were at a certain point. She puts them in the oven, and which is done by wood, you know, but there's always a fire in the oven. This is kind of up on the west coast, up in the mountain, above Skibbereen, up the mountains come down to the west coast.
Yeah.
And she's up here, almost to the top in this farm. In this little valley.
And when you said she was dressed in white, or was she dressed in white, like all sorts of?
No, she was dressed. When I met her, she was dressed in garbage bags.
Oh man, weird.
Yeah, she looked like a homeless lady.
Oh, okay,
You know,
just eccentric.
Yeah, off the streets. But when she got to the farm, when we got, she had a little van, a Humvee, which is what they used to call, the Volkswagen vans.
But
Anyway,
she took a fancy to you.
Yeah, she thought it was, and I don't, she took a fancy to me as like an apprentice, not so much as a meat puppet that she could have her way with. But anyway, so we have this nice little meal, right? And then she pours me a cup of tea. From on top of her stove, she has 3 cast iron pots. And from the first pot, she pours it in there, gives me a cup of tea, I drink it, and I go, boy, this is good. It's like lemon something. And I drink it, and I go, wow, that makes me, I feel good. And she goes, well, you feel up for a little work? I said, yeah. She goes, well, out there's a pile of wood. Why don't you split it to little, she showed me the kind of, taking a whole log this big, and I split them into little bits that she could put into her stove. So there was a gigantic pile. I mean, bigger than that pile of logs that we have over there.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Yeah.
It was bigger than that. Bigger than that pile, right?
That pile right there.
And I split the whole thing up in an afternoon.
Oh, man.
Right, you know? And I was like, I looked like something, I was like, I had my shirt off, my jeans, and anyway, so she goes, okay, that's good. Now, stack it up. She showed me how she wanted it stacked. She goes, take, a bunch of that and bring it into the kitchen and put it in the box. I did. She goes, outside on the porch, there's another bigger box. Fill that up. I did. By that time, the sun was going down, and she made me dinner, and which was was just vegetables from her garden, but they were amazingly good. And I had learned how to cook from my grandma, but this lady really taught me about vegetables.
Cool.
Anyway, so she's then kind of, from the second pot, she pours me a cup of tea. We start drinking. And then we go into her study, which is just covered in books, just books everywhere. And she has her desk, and then she has another desk. And she goes, this will be your desk, your reading desk. And there's a really nice chair, a nice light. And I said, oh, okay. And so there was another chair next to it that was like this one, kind of on rollers. And she sat down on that one. I sat down on the big comfy chair, and she brought out this big book. I mean, big book. She opened it up, and it was something that I would see later. It was something from Phoenicia, before Samaria. And it dealt with, not magic. It was more math than magic. But the math was math that most people aren't really. It's more like alchemy, right? And so she goes, this is alchemy. And we start reading it. She starts.
What's alchemy?
Alchemy is.
Sorry, for people that don't know.
Well, alchemy is science. Way early science.
Oh, okay.
It's like, a good example is the pyramids in Giza, right?
Yeah.
They're alchemy, right? And what they are mathematical formulas.
Yeah.
And what they do is they harmonize. There's a thing called torsion frequency and scalar frequency. Everything that we have is on the Hertzian wave. It's on an XY coordinate, right?
Okay.
But these other things, scalar and torsion frequencies, they're multi-dimensional. There's 16 dimensions, not just X and Y. There's 16. So they go into other planes that are right next to us. Like quantum physics is teaching us that we live in these parallel universes. There's 18 zillion unlimited numbers of John Birminghams, right?
Oh yeah, in parallel universes.
Right, and they're right here, right next to us. And so alchemy is the science and the math and the physics of understanding that, which is just a little bit like the science that we have today, the science of your iPhone, the science of all this stuff.
Yeah.
That's like caveman. It's like childish science. But this woman was a goddess of that alchemy, of shamanic alchemy. And that's what she was. She was a shamanic alchemist. And that's what she was teaching me. I am a shamanic, psychosocial, cultural, forensic, anthropologic alchemist. And because I don't just deal with I deal with people and the things and what's going on and how to mix all that together. Anyway, and I had other teachers before her, but she was the first coming from this angle.
Yeah.
And I kind of understood. I had a reference of what she was talking about. I just wasn't schooled, and she schooled me.
Yeah.
So every, I did in the morning. She'd make this breakfast. We'd have the first pot. I'd go out and tend the garden, pick herbs, do that. After lunch, I would, study with her.
Yeah.
And at night, before we went to sleep, we'd never watch TV. She just had it because if something was going on, she'd turn it on and she'd want to see what was going on. But anyway.
You naked man.
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Anyway, so and she would read me poetry, and we'd sing at night. And she had this little harmonia she'd play, and a dulcimer she'd play. And she gave me a penny whistle, and I played. She's a man of playing penny whistle. So anyway.
But what happened?
I'm getting there.
You said you looked 19 or
right.
something.
So
sometimes you transformed.
So the first time I saw her, she looked like a
112-year-old
bag lady and smelled bad, right?
Yeah, and terrifying because she was like some weird witch,
right?
Else.
And then when we got to the farm, as we were driving there, she kind of shedded. She closed, when
she was comfortable back at her house,
right? And she was, she wanted to check me out before she really let me.
I somewhat believe. Yeah, I could. I mean,
you
that's
see
very
this.
possible. Yeah, because
so it was all acting.
I feel a lot more. Sometimes I feel more comfortable at home.
Right. So, but she, like when we got in the car in Dublin, she had taken off the garbage bag. She was wearing a nice little dress, right, and a green dress. It was kind of. She had a lot of these. They were like a thing that she put over. And it had a big high collar, and it was a soft material, not translucent or diaphanous. But anyway, so one night we have dinner, we're singing, and she brings out this little tray of a kind of glass jug and these nice little glasses. And I go, "What's that?" She goes, "It's poitín." And I go, "Poitín, And on the tray, there's another little plate with these little, they look like chocolate truffles. And they were, I said, "Oh." She goes, "It's dessert." So she pours me a thing, and I said, "Poitín." And she goes, "Well, it's like a fine whiskey." Okay. And so I picked up one of the little chocolate things and kind of bit a little, and it was chewy like caramel, but not. It felt like it had nuts in it, but they didn't, and had this amazing chocolate around it. And as soon as I bit in it, it was like something. It built a kind of universe. The taste was like that, and then she handed me the thing, and the smell of the poitín was like wow, like intense, like. An industrial solvent, but really amazingly tasty. Not like, ooh, that's It was like, and it was like, and it was like doing LSD, but really good. Meaning, it didn't it made me.
But LSD is horrible.
Right, exactly.
Yes, no one should do that.
But this stuff was organic, obviously, and it wasn't psychotropic.
It was like some ancient Irish.
Yes,
Gaelic,
something
English, something
that opened up different
in
parts
the woods
of
opened
Ireland. Up parts of me that were there, but it's like DMT, which is like a psychotropic. You take it, and our bodies make DMT. Now the DMT that you take is artificial,
which is awful. You should never.
Right, but the DMT in your brain is you, right? So, like when you are intimate with someone and you come to release that intimacy and you have that that's DMT being released into your cerebral cortex, and they call DMT the God molecule. So anyway, it was like, God. And everything's kind of changing, really, like so sparkly. And I mean, that was a beautiful room we were in.
But that's not what the psychotropic and all those hallucinogenic drugs. That's not really what they're about. Some people can have a nightmare on
right. This wasn't. This was
crazy.
This was. I felt
this was
better.
not. This was something different.
I felt more complete.
Yeah. This was
more connected.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, I look over her, and she's sitting in her chair like, "Hey, how you doing?" And she's looking like she's 19. and she is wearing a diaphanous gown, and her breasts are, the light from the window is coming through, and you can see her completely like she was naked, and so I was like, whoa. And then I kind of sprung a boner, and she goes, oh, you're happy to see me. And she just comes over, takes my hand.
Don't be too descriptive, because I got to keep this PG or G rating.
Right, and she takes me into her, which I never, ever, ever went into her boudoir. And so we have a night of something from, the Persian stories. You mix a little the Indian and the Persian stories, and that's what it was. So here's a woman. She graduated. She was one of the first women to graduate with a medical degree from Oxford.
Really?
Yeah, in like 1911.
Oh.
She was a surgeon in World War One.
Oh, okay.
And so...
and she had enough money to pay to be self-sufficient.
She came from she was English,
cool.
even though
That's
she had
cool.
spent most of her life in Ireland. She had gone to undergrad at Trinity, and that's why, was her original connection, probably and she was one of the first women.
When do you think she was born? Like 1880s?
Some 1890s, 1880s, or maybe, who knows? I have no idea.
It could have been later or earlier?
Earlier. But, but she was born she never showed me a birth certificate, but she told me she had gone to Trinity at this time, and she had, got a medical degree at that time, and she had, been a surgeon in the First World War. Anyway, and she was like right on, because the English guys were like, ew. So she was right on the line, near no man's land. I mean, World War One, people don't understand. There was this disgusting line, Germans here, French here, that went across Europe, and it went through towns, and those places still existed all during the war, because the war wasn't like this was terrible and then that, and so she was there doing surgery in the most disgusting situation, because nobody wanted to be there. If she was further out, oh, you're a woman, you can't do this. Anyway,
Good thing she made it through all that.
She was amazing. So she was wonderful. Anyway, so we had that night, and man, I fell in love with her. And when I woke up, I was in her boudoir, and it was just smelled so great, and I felt, I never had intimacy like that in my life, and I was a pretty experienced young lad, and I grew up in New York City, had a lot of girlfriends, but nothing like that. I came out, and she was back wearing her nice little, frock. I don't want to, there's a better word, coat, I have no idea how to explain what she looked like. And she didn't look really old, and she sure didn't look like she was 19 when we were being intimate, because she looked like she was 19 when she looks like somewhere between 30-something and 50-something. But her hair had gone from white to a more reddish. She had red hair and green eyes, but when she was 19, she had fire red hair, like a fire truck. But this was more like blondening red hair. And she didn't have all the wrinkles. Her skin was still smooth. And she had lipstick on her lips. She kind of smiled with her lipstick. She never wore anything. But that morning she had lipstick on her lips. Anyway, so it was like, other than her looking a lot younger and really pleasant, and it just made me feel just happy to be next to her. And she made me, Irish breakfasts are pretty intense. They're like a gigantic meal. I mean, what I make for you is just a tenth of what. So we had breakfast. I had my little list. She had these little clippy things on a wire, and this was my morning things, my afternoon things, and my after supper things before dinner to do. So she goes, "There's your list." I went and started fixing certain things in the barn, and she liked the fact that I was electrical because she had little things she wanted fabricated. And so did that.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
Beyond belief. I mean, this would make a great movie. So,
a lot of work to do all that in my own money, unless I want Hollywood.
We got to go get Hollywood to do it. We got to get Hollywood. You're listening. This is a great movie for you. Anyway, so I did that for a good month and 20 days, and it was getting time for me. I had a visa, and I had a choice. One time we had a discussion. She goes, "So what do you want to do? Are you going to go back to New York? Are you going to go back to your life? What are you going to... And the Vietnam War, you're going to have to stay in school if you want to stay out of Vietnam. And, after this, school...
Vietnam was still going on?
Oh, yeah.
Till I thought it stopped in 70 or...
Well, this is 71. No, it stopped. It was like, we're done at 75. The Viet...
it's still...
They came into Saigon in 75. Okay. But it kept going... We were fighting in Southeast Asia into the 80s.
Oh, man.
Because we were fighting over heroin. Khmer Rouge, Pol Pot, all of that. Anyway, different story. So she was going, so what do you want to do? And she goes, you could stay here with me. And this would be a great life. You'd never go back to America, but you could stay here.
Yeah, I know.
And I was going, So anyway, she goes, just think about it. So
it would have been kind of like this house.
But, it would have been more. It was way different.
No, but I mean in the future being here.
Yes. Anyway, so I'm thinking about it, and then she.
But it's similar. It seems similar in some ways.
Yes.
When I first came here, some weird giant root on the ground,
right?
And all sorts of strange spiders that were
big.
This big. These huge black spiders.
Look, the whole north side of the building was covered in trumpet and vines.
Giant vines growing up.
The whole thing was covered.
I had to knock all that down.
And the porch was covered in moss.
Oh man, I had to do so much work.
You did all of that. You ripped it all out. Yeah. You Anyway, so she said, "You want to stay here, or Anyway, so I'm thinking about it. So one day after that, a couple days later, she goes, "There's a woman having a baby, and she was a midwife, and the midwife down there came to me this morning, and she's one of the students." And I said, students? I mean, how old is she? Oh, she's about 50. She was one of my students. But she's having a problem. And she came to me and asked me if I could come down and help. And sure. So I'm going to go. So I'm going to walk over the mountain. You stay here. I got a list of things for you to do. I should be back tomorrow. And I go, okay. So I do all the things on the list. And she doesn't come back. And next day, I'm like, what to do? And I go off and do a few little things, and because I've been there a month and a half, I kind of know, she needs this, I pick some more herbs. And she taught me how to make potions from the herbs, tonics, and that was part of my gig,
cool.
Part of my job. So I worked on that, and then, it was supper time, is around 2:00. They have a big breakfast, and from 6 in the morning till 2 they work real hard, and then they have supper, which isn't dinner, supper, which is another pretty big meal, and then you work more, and then dinner is later, once dark 30 drops, and you have a nice little meal, nothing big because you're going to go to sleep in a little bit. Anyway, so I'm sitting.
What happened to it? Okay, sorry.
So I'm sitting there, and I pretty much is done, and on this wood stove, there's the first, cast iron teapot, and that's the stuff I drink to work real hard. The next is the stuff I drink when she wants me to think about something, to study, to read, to remember. The third pot, she would go, and you can't drink this. This pot is just for me. This is off, not for you. Don't do it. Yep. So I'm there. She hasn't been back. It's almost 2 days. I'm looking at the dog, and he's kind of going, hey, drink the third one. Go on, drink it. And I'm going, she said not to.
The dog. What do you, did you already drink the elixir?
No, I had
communicating with the
I didn't
dog?
have any pochine, but I did. She did have a can of those chocolate yummy things that I would have as a treat.
And the dog's going, yeah, come on, do it.
And she had like 6 dogs, and they were all great dogs. Awful. She had cats, she had dogs, she had everything.
Yeah, okay, it was a good dog.
Right. Oh, they all were good dogs, but he was my bud, and he go get. So I go get myself a little cup.
Okay, nice dog. He wasn't a.
They were all good. They were all great dogs.
No. Okay.
So, all her animals were great. So I drink that, and it was like lemony, yummy. It was like drinking gold, sweet honey down into my throat. And I could feel it went all the way down to my toes. And then blew up and came out. And I was like, whoa. I had another one. And whoa, that's it. And then before I knew it, I drank the whole pot.
Oh, my God.
And I was on planet Claire. And all night long, the stars, everything was talking to me. The furniture... everything was talking to me. When I ate, you know how you eat?
What do you mean, talking to you?
Yes, talking to me. Hey, Al, how you doing?
But literally?
Yeah,
or...
I mean, at least I thought it was,
You mean you look at...
I'd look at the microwave, and the microwave would talk to me. I'd look at the coffee pot, it would talk. The toaster would talk. Everything was talking to me. And telling me stories, trying to get my attention. And I was the center of the attention of everything I foresaw. Anyway, and it wasn't scary.
Did you care if that light's on? Is that bothering you?
No, it's fine.
It's too late now,
it's
right?
Good. No, it's good for video.
You got the whole...
No, it's good.
Okay.
Anyway, so I'm like becoming one with everything, and then the sun rises, and it was like...
You were awake the whole time?
The whole time. And it went by like that. Meaning I didn't feel like last night when I couldn't sleep because of
but what had you done the whole time?
Talking to the toaster, reading books, walking in the garden,
Wow.
Rolling
but
around.
It was happy. It wasn't a terrifying.
Oh no,
horrible,
it was
horrible thing, which is what usually the illegal drugs do.
Right. And
no one should do that stuff. But that was legal back then.
No, that was magic.
Yeah, it was some weird. Yes, totally
wasn't
different. Okay, that's
covered
good.
by anyone's law except natural.
But
law.
was she a witch?
No, she was. My teacher. She was a crone. The word witch doesn't.
Did she? How did this all end? How did you?
Okay, I'm getting there. I'm
get
getting
back
there.
to
I'm getting
America.
Anyway, so the next day goes by, nothing happens, but I'm talking to everything, and I'm talking to the animals. So in the afternoon, like around 1, we're playing cards. I'm sitting in the barn, all the animals around me, and I have her cards, her tarot cards. Okay. And I'm reading the tarot for all the animals. And at some point, the cow goes, we should get in the Comfy and go down to the pub. I'd really like a beer. And,
the cow?
Yeah, the cow said that to me. And I said, And then all the dogs said, yeah, let's go to the pub. Let's go to the pub.
No, yeah.
I want some patties. So we all agreed to get in. The only one who didn't go along was the horse. The horse was going, no, the madam wouldn't like it.
What, a Humvee?
No, wait. It's like a van.
Oh, a big van.
It's a European
But you get the animals into it?
I was trying.
But did they or not?
No, I got them all. It was like putting clowns in a VW,
Yeah.
So all the dogs they just got in. The cats got in.
Yeah.
The pigs got in. I didn't have to do it. Getting the cow in was the hard one. And the horse was standing over there going, I'm standing in my stall. I'm not doing anything wrong. The madam won't like this. No, I'm not going.
It's gone for 37 minutes. It's gone for 37 minutes.
Well, a good story is good. So anyway, I'll wrap it up. So I'm trying to get the cow in the Humvee, and he's going, push me harder, push me harder. And all of a sudden, I turn around, and there she is. She's looking at me going like, so you drank the third pot. I told you not to drink the third pot. You drank the third pot. Yes. So how did it go? No. You drank the third pot. You didn't listen. And I said, but... She goes, no, you didn't listen. It was, no. Anyway, so she went like that, and all the animals scattered, but the cow was stuck in there, and she goes, Rex, you get yourself out. But. And so we go in the house. She fixes me up another little drink. She goes, drink this. Knock it down. Bing. I'm back to reality. All of that specialness stops like that. Right? And she goes, well, I think your studies are done here. I go, what? She goes, you drank the third pot. You can't stay here anymore. I said, what? She goes, later on in your life you can come back and visit, but you can't. You got to go back to Trinity. So, next day I packed my bag. She drove me back. It was almost...
Either way, you're supposed to go anyway,
right,
whether or not you drink.
I mean, that was the excuse she used. She was,
okay.
For 2 weeks she gave it. So do you want to stay here? Do you want to stay here? Do you want to stay here? Do you want to stay here with me? Do you want to stay here? And that was the way I made my decision. I drank the third pot.
Yeah.
So that's the end of the story, kids. I got more to tell about that.
Did you ever see her again?
Yes.
When?
Oh, let's see. I went back to Ireland 2 more times before I met Donna Ann McAdams and got married and brought her to Ireland. And those 2 times I went and saw her.
You did?
Mm-hmm. We would write letters. She was a great letter writer.
She had a physical address.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
How big was her house?
Well, it was kind of magical. From the outside, it looked like the
guest house.
Yeah, but on the inside, it was like 5 times bigger than this place.
Oh,
I mean, it just went on and on and on.
Really?
And on. Yeah. It was
it was a mansion then.
Yeah, but from the outside, it was like the TARDIS. You know, Doctor Who, the TARDIS.
Oh.
No, it
but
was.
I couldn't find all the rooms here for the first few weeks or months.
Well, okay, yeah, it was like this. So, but even more so. But on the outside, it looked like a nice little gingerbread little house and a barn and a couple of outbuildings. And,
man.
And they were all a lot bigger on the inside.
Okay.
So, yeah, I went back twice. And I tried.
And then with Donna McAdams, you didn't. It was too weird because you.
No. I told her this story. No, she wanted to see it.
Okay.
But this is the weird thing. So everyone in that little town.
Yeah.
Everyone in that whole county.
Where was it? What was the town?
As I told you, it on the west coast of Ireland. Dublin is here. You go over to Limerick, and then up the way, or Cork. Go to Cork, and then the whole west coast. And there's the Ring of Kerry, and then the Skibbereen, and that's that county. And then if you were to go due east, up the mountain, it was right up there. There was a little town over here, started with an M. I forget that's where the pub was. And there was a little hamlet where...
Did she have acreage, or did she own it, or what? How did...
Who knows? But that was her place, that was for sure.
It was way out in the woods?
No, it was on top of a mountain. And there are no real woods. The Romans and then the English chopped down all the trees. There are no real forests in Ireland.
Oh, it's all green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all vegetables. And anyway, so when I went back with Donna, we weren't there that long. We were in Ireland for about 2 weeks because we were going to go do something else. And so we went and we visited her family, her mother's family. And then we...
You're not a gay bald guy with a hoop earring?
No. And, I am related to Mr. Clean, though. No, never been gay. I've known a lot of gay folks working in the theater for 20, 30 years and living in New York. And gay folk are just like anybody else. How they're black people and Hispanic people and Asian people. Well, gay fit right into that. They're just, a percentage of the human family. That's all they are. Anyway, so, but when I went back with Donna, we couldn't find the place.
Yeah.
Couldn't find it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I knew exactly where it was. Went up the road. It wasn't there.
It wasn't?
No.
Wow, okay.
It was like hiding. It was in the mist. And that's Ireland, kids, and that's why I'm leaving that story.
And you never saw her again?
No. I saw her in Dreamtime. I still do see her in Dreamtime.
You do?
Yeah.
Do you think she passed away?
I have no idea, but she's definitely a powerful spirit that, I see her in Dreamtime. Just
and you can summon not summon the demons.
I know, Dreamtime is, you don't summon Dreamtime, you go there.
Okay.
And
you meditate and then
it comes to, you go to your Akashic record, you go to your library in your subconscious mind. And that's where your dream time starts behind your eyelids, where you dream, you have REM sleep, right? Your eyeballs are moving around because your eyelids are like a movie screen.
Okay.
And that's dream time. And if you want to know more about dream time, go Google Aboriginal people / dream time. And
that's something else.
Wikipedia. No, it's the same thing.
All right. But that's Al giving a story. You can click here. You can subscribe to me and watch all sorts of videos, filmmaking, whatever. You can watch his videos.
My stories.
Of talking about
all kinds
spiritual stuff and stuff like that.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Politics. A lot of stuff.
Whatever, all that stuff. Okay, bye.